guys get ready with me to go back to my dad's. If anybody has some tips for like the red little dots I have, if anybody has some tips on how to get rid of that, please let me know. Okay, here's the thing, guys. Nobody in my life has ever seen me without makeup. I mean, like, obviously besides my family and stuff, but only my close friends have seen me without makeup. Oh, and you guys, of course. But other than that, I don't let people see me without makeup because I'm fucking ugly as fuck. I was with my friend and she walked by a guy that I like in the school and I think he fucking saw me. I kid you not, guys, I really want to cry. Anyways, guys, I'm thinking of doing like a very light makeup. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna be telling you guys that story time about me sneaking in that guy. So basically, my family was out to go buy a car in a different place. So keep in mind, they left at like 2 in the afternoon. And then by the time they were supposed to be home, it would be like at 7 p.m. Like the latest. But they didn't come back home. Started texting them. And I'm like, whoa, where are you guys at? And they're like, oh, we're in fucking Washington. And I'm like, okay. And before that, there's a boy that I was talking to. He's my ex. And he kept asking to want to hang out and stuff like that. But with my social anxiety, it's like, no. But I had a feeling like that boy was gonna come over. So I started fucking cleaning around the house. Not my room, but the living room. And then I got ready. It was like 12, almost 1 by the time I was getting ready. I kept telling this guy, no, like, don't come over. Like, you can't. Like, there's cameras and type shit. But he ended up getting, like, sneaking out of his house and started walking and sent me snaps of him literally walking to my house. So my family was on their way. I was, like, keeping track of the location because I told my brother to send his location. So at first, I thought this guy was, like, joking and, like, there's no way he's actually gonna come over. It was like almost 2 when he showed me that he was like 2 streets away from like my street. And then like I kept like ignoring his text and then he was like, please come on, let me in, like it's cold as fuck out here, don't do this to me, like I really want to see you. And I was like, well fuck, now I gotta let him over. So I was like, okay, well fuck it. I opened the door for him and he came in. Like 2 in the morning by the time like we were in the living room and hanging out. And I was still like keeping track of like my brother's location to see when they were gonna get home. So we're hanging out and stuff and this boy starts getting touchy. Oh, and before he came here, he was fucking drinking. So then he starts like kissing on me and I'm like, whoa, like, you know, I don't do that. I'm not a physical touch person, you know? I got some PTSD type shit, so I can't do touch. But he keeps going at it and eventually I let in and I start kissing him back. Because I didn't want to make things awkward, you know? So like I had to kiss back. This is the first time I ever kissed somebody without it being like a, you know, like an actual kiss. Like I've never kissed anybody. So then we're kissing and then I kind of stopped the kissing moment and then we start talking. And like he was being super touchy, so I brought up the fact like, what did you think that was gonna happen here? And he's like, it's gonna be like nothing sexual and type stuff. Like that's not what I'm here for. I just want to talk. But I feel like deep down this boy was wanting something because he was obviously being so touchy. But eventually we just start talking and we start laying down on the couch together. And then while we're laying down again, the boy starts being touchy again, basically making out. So while we're like kissing and stuff, and like the whole time that we were there like hanging out in the living room, he kept asking to go to my room and lay down on the bed. And I'm like, no, because my room's not clean and I want to see it as a mess, because it really wasn't clean. And he's like, no, I don't care, like I just want to lay down, like I'm tired. And I was like, deep down this bitch wants to fucking do something. But then he ended up taking a no and understood that like, not my room. But anyways, so we're like hanging out again, just kissing and stuff. I look at the location of my brother. It said like he was last at this place like 30 minutes ago, and like I calculated how far it was from my house and it was like 40 minutes. And then I was like, oh, so we got 45 minutes. But then I was like, wait, because it said 30 minutes ago and he said his phone was gonna die. So I was like, oh my god, you gotta leave soon. He's like, no, it's okay, just like 5 more minutes, because like we were laying down and cuddling kind of. We're laying down and guess what the fuck we hear outside? My parents' car. So then we start freaking out and I'm like, wait, shut the fuck up, like let me hear that again. And it was, and then we hear talking outside and this boy is still inside my house. And I was like, oh my fucking god. And then I start rushing him. I was like, you need to go through those back doors. And bitch goes through the other door. I was like, no, the other door. So I'm over here like freaking the fuck out. And I was like, oh my god, I need to get this boy out of here as soon as fucking possible. So goes to the back door, somebody opening the front door, and then I open it first, acting like, oh hey guys, you know, I was awake for you guys. And then I start texting him immediately, and I go to my room and I start texting him, and then he doesn't answer, so I fucking call and he doesn't answer, and he finally picks up. I'm like really fucking whispering like, there's a gate, let's hope that it's unlocked, and I give you the cue, you fucking dip. Once everybody's inside, I'll tell you, and then you dip. The gate was locked. I Now we're both freaking out because how the fuck is he supposed to leave? It's literally like 5, really cold outside, so I can't just leave this guy out there without anything, right? And there was no way I could sneak him back in and then have him go through my window because my brothers, the ones that stayed over, were sleeping in the living room. So then we're just freaking out, and then everybody's inside, and then I'm texting him. I was like, what the fuck are we gonna do? He's like, I don't know, but it's freaking cold. Like, I'm freezing out here. There's no way for me to leave. And I was like, no, there's just literally no way for me to even sneak you in as well. So then we're just like stressing. I'm like, okay, can you jump the fence? And he's like, yeah, but the one that I can jump at, it's next to a window. And I'm like, fuck, that's my dad's room, that's my dad's window. All the whole time he's like, I jumped and I'm fucking sprinting, and I was like, okay, thank God, because I didn't hear you. And then he's like, you know the gate that was locked? And I was like, yeah. He's like, there was tires next to it, so I stacked up the tire and I stacked up a cone and I got on top and I jumped over. And I was like, this bitch doesn't parkour. But he escaped and we didn't get caught, but this boy still wants to hang out. And like, I don't know if I should hang out with him again. Like, y'all let me know.
Get ready with me, and I have like a story time. Okay, so basically there's like 3 stories that like go along with this story. So yeah. So back in 2021, I tore my meniscus doing an aerial, and it's like pretty much healed now, but it's still really weak, and I go to like physical therapy for it every week. This like goes with the story, I swear. And a few days ago, I was at my aerial private because I have like a standing private every weekend for an aerial, and I fell and landed on my knee wrong, the same one that I hurt a while ago. And it's been really swollen and like hurting the past day or 2. So my mom's like, okay, we're gonna go to Academy and get like a brace just for whenever you do your aerial, because I don't want you to hurt it any more than you already did. So I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's not like I'm gonna be like wearing the brace 24/7. So I'm at Academy and we're like looking for braces, and there are these like really annoying girls. Like, I'm not even trying to be rude, but they're like riding skateboards and like running around the store screaming. And I'm like, what is going on? So my mom finally picks out a brace that she thinks is gonna be good, and she's like, okay, just try it on and make sure it fits. So I'm wearing sweatpants and I like pull them up and I'm like putting on the brace, and one of the girls like rides by on her like skateboard. It's not even there. It's like the skateboards that the store sells. And she like rides by and we make eye contact, and then all of a sudden like the whole friend group starts laughing. And I just like knew. I was like, okay. So they're all laughing, and all of a sudden they all scream like, she's faking. And I'm like, what the heck? So then they all start dying laughing, and they're like riding their skateboards around like the aisle and like going back and forth saying like faker, pick me, like all these things. And I'm just like, what is going on? And my mom is like, she doesn't even realize what's happening. And I tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, we need to like get out of here. Like, this is embarrassing. These girls will not shut up, and this is terrible. So we check out and we're in the parking lot, and the girls are like on the swing, because there's like swings outside of the store. There's like the play sets. And we're walking to the car, and these girls start like screaming from across the parking lot like, faker, faker, all these like, oh my gosh. And then my mom was like, what are they doing? They sound stupid. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then she's like, they're just jealous of you. And I'm just like, okay, Mom. Like, no, they're not. They're just being annoying. So then I start to walk over to them because I'm about to go tell these girls to like shut up and mind their business. And they all like jump off the swing and literally run away. So yeah, I don't really know what was happening. But I got my brace, and I promise I'm not a faker. Anyways, that's story time.
Get ready with me to go on a date with my boyfriend. I never skip a day ice rolling my face. It just feels so good and so refreshing. My boyfriend is trying to eat as much as he can today because tomorrow he's getting his wisdom teeth out, and he is not excited for that. So I am actually allergic to anesthesia, and so when I had braces, they pushed all my teeth forward so my wisdom teeth can come in and it won't mess up my teeth because I can't be put under. How did I meet my boyfriend? That was a good question. I met my boyfriend 4 years ago last month at a party, And I recently got out of like a very toxic and bad situation. And so I just did not want to be with anyone, and I was not looking for a relationship. So we stayed friends for a while, and we would Snapchat and like talk, but I was just like not really interested just because I didn't want to get hurt again. But he did not stop. He stayed and waited, and patience is key. And I was really nervous, but I went on my first date with him. We went to a Mariners game in Seattle, and a guy stopped us and was like, "You guys are the cutest couple." And it was our first date. I was so connected with him, and I felt like there was so much chemistry there. And so I was like, I'm getting feelings I never felt before. And 4 years later, look at us now. Another question I got was, where do I see myself in 5 years? I see myself married with a couple kids, and I definitely want to start my own skincare line. I got asked if I am living off of my social media income, and the answer to that is yes. Daniel is trying to be a firefighter right now. He's been having a bunch of interviews for that. Speaking of the devil.
What up?
I got asked if I went to college. I did not. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to rush it. What was my life before influencing? Like I said before, I had no idea what I was doing before I graduated high school. I was just like having fun and doing what every teenager does. So don't feel discouraged if you have no idea what you're doing. Don't get stressed and overwhelmed, because everyone is at a different pace in life, and God has a plan for everyone, and you will succeed. I have also been thinking about going to school to be an esthetician, because I love skincare and I would love to like have my own studio. All the products that I use are on my Amazon storefront under the makeup category. And that is the final look. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.
Good morning, guys. Okay, I'm gonna talk about what happened to me the other day at work because it's kind of, crazy. I don't know, I think this story is kind of... So I work in retail. I was greeting people at the front, okay? And I greeted this woman and I was like, "Hi, welcome in. Like, let me know how I can, like, what I'm supposed to do, my literal job." She didn't answer me, which is annoying, but like a lot of customers do that. Like, she blatantly ignored me and I was like, wow. It was actually like a group of 4 girls. I greeted the first one, ignored me, and I was like, wow, rude. So I greeted her friend and her friend was just like, okay, like not the nicest either. I was honestly just like, whatever, like we get rude people all the time. I'm used to it. What I distinctively remembered about the first girl that was really rude to me was that she was holding this bag, okay? And it was like, I don't even remember what brand it was, but it was definitely fake and it was definitely very, very ugly. It's literally this huge, ugly tote. I don't even know. And it was just ugly. And I just remember being like, well, that's why you have an ugly bag. It's because you're rude. And I distinctively remembered that bag. So they walk deeper into the store and I don't see them after that. But like 30 minutes later, a security officer comes in and she's holding the big ugly bag that I remembered. And so she's walking in and I'm like, oh my God, like I know who that bag is for, because in my head, I'm literally an idiot. I was like, someone lost their big fat ugly bag. So I was like, oh, I know who that's for. I remember her. And the security officer, like, she kind of looked at me like I was stupid, which is like valid because that was not my brightest moment. And she proceeds to dump out a bunch of merch from our store coming from this lady's bag. And when I tell you it was a lot, like $300 worth, it was a lot. Skirts, tops, like accessories. We have these satin pillowcases that we sell and she took like 10 of those. How can someone be so stupid? And when people shoplift, I think it's so disgusting. What are you doing? Like, can we talk about that for a second? Shoplifting being a trend is so weird. What is wrong with you? You're committing a crime. If you can't afford it, just don't go to the store. Like, why? There are so many other options. You can go to a cheaper store. You can go thrifting. There's so many things you could do. Why are you stealing? That literally just pisses me off. Like, don't steal. I lose a ton of respect for you because literally, what is wrong with you? You chose the worst route. Just don't shoplift, okay? That's ugly. All right, that's not a good look, babes. That's not classy, okay? Anyway, continuing on with my story because I got a little carried away. The police officer's like, yeah, this woman stole so much from y'all. And I was just like, that's so cute. Anyway, I ended up being the only employee that saw her and recognized the bag. So I had to stay after and like fill out a police report and all that, which I really had nothing to say besides she was rude to me. I literally put that in the police report. I was like, she was not very nice. And I asked them like, how did y'all catch her? Because she fully like got out of our store, like left the store. They said that the store next door actually caught them. If you've never worked retail, you probably don't know, but like whenever you catch someone stealing, you're not supposed to confront them because that could be dangerous. You're basically supposed to quietly report it and hope that security gets there in time. So that's what the store next door did. These girls also tried to run off. Like literally 3 of them got away, but they're all going to jail. Like literal jail, prison. Moral of the story is don't shoplift ever. It's just not the flex that you think it is. Like you could go to big girl jail for that. Okay, it's not a game. It's just a really easy way to get in a lot of trouble and also look really bad. Like, girl, that's trashy. What are you doing? Anyway, I'm gonna go. Have a great day, guys. Love y'all.
Guys, get ready with me while I tell you probably one of the scariest experiences of my life. So me and my 3 other friends really wanted to go on a trip together, and I was like, let's just go to my river condo. Okay, so we planned it all out and we finally found a time that worked for all of us. So keep in mind, at my river condo, there's no internet. So we got there and we were having such a good time until we got in this huge argument. Basically, the argument was about how my friends were apparently leaving me out, I guess. I don't really know. Looking back at it, I was being pretty dramatic and I don't know why I was upset over it. Anyways, so I thought a good way to cool down a little bit and just to work it all out was just to go canoeing, and I thought that would maybe make us like less angry. I guess like something to take our minds off of the whole argument thing. So there's a paddle boat and a canoe. So 2 of my friends took the paddle boat and the other 2 took the canoe, and I was in the canoe. So as we were canoeing down the river, we kept having to stop because the paddle boat was taking forever. So we had to wait on my friends like every 5 minutes so they could catch back up to us. So at this point, it probably took us about 20 to 30 minutes to get down to the hot springs, which was where I wanted to go because it's so much fun. So we finally arrived at the hot springs, and 2 of my friends were hanging out in the actual hot springs, and then me and my other friend were like, let's just go look around and go see what there is. Honestly, I don't really know what I was looking for or what I was expecting because we were in the middle of literally nowhere. So we were walking for probably like 15 or 20 minutes. So at this point, we were super far ahead of my other friends. So me and the girl I was with were kind of a little delulu at the time, and we were kind of just spacing out, walking and talking. And I look up and I noticed that behind us, like probably like 20 or 30 feet, was a sign that said no trespassing. So at this point, I was like, we gotta go. Like, let's turn around. Okay, so keep in mind that on the left side of the of the hot springs is a highway, and then on the right, a whole bunch of houses. So I see this guy come out of the shed, and he was yelling something to us, and he held something up with his hand. So in the moment, I was thinking this is worst case scenario. We had no phones, no cell service, our friends didn't know where we went, and we were walking around in swimsuits. So I tell my friend we have to start running, like I can't. And as we run, we hear 3 gunshots behind us. Keep in mind, the rocks are really slippery, so we're slipping everywhere. So we finally make it to our friends, and I'm like, y'all need to run. They're like, why? I'm like, we do not have time to explain. Slowly but surely, we finally make it back. It took forever because of how slow our other friend's boat was. Looking back at it, that could have been so much worse than it was, and I'm so glad that none of us got hurt because, honestly, I don't know what we would have done. Anyways, bye guys. I hope y'all all have an amazing day.